Can you believe that there was actually a time that makeup didn't exist? There was actually a time where nobody could wear makeup because there was no makeup to wear. Makeup was actually created over 12,000 years ago. Can you believe that? 12,000. I couldn't even imagine one day going without my foundation, let alone 12,000 years. The ancient Egyptians were actually the ones to bring us makeup. But since there was no companies 12,000 years ago, how did they make it? The Egyptians actually used berries to stain their lips and their hair. And they used burnt matches to put eyeliner on. And they would stick leeches to themselves because it would drain their blood and give them the pale complexion that we get today by just using foundation. Of course, as of today, things have changed. But how did they get to where they are today? Well, as time passed, of course, makeup became more popular. But it was said that only the upper class could wear the makeup. It was actually frowned upon in churches that makeup could only be worn by the upperclassmen because they said that the middle class and the lower class couldn't afford to wear the makeup and they couldn't afford to have a chance to change their appearance. Because the reason why they wore makeup was to either look younger if you looked old, or, of course, to look older if you looked too young. But in the 1800s, Queen Victoria declared that the only people who were allowed to wear makeup were actors. Other than that, everybody else was forbidden to wear makeup because it was so vulgar. But by the 20th century, makeup had become more common. After the turn of the century, makeup had became very popular around, and it wasn't just for the upperclassmen. It was everyone could afford it now, because actually companies actually started selling it out of stores. Actually, one of the very first companies to start selling makeup was a company called Max Factor, and they are actually based out of Poland. They actually, in 1908, they moved to the United States. They actually moved to Los Angeles to start a Hollywood career because they created a makeup with a grease base because it was thicker than your regular powder makeup or anything else that they would use. So the makeup that they created was actually a grease base. So when they would put it on actors, it would actually stay on longer during the movies. And of course, we actually still, in some certain circumstances, still use that grease-based makeup in some movies today because it actually repels the water from it. So it actually works really well if we're filming any movies underwater or anything like that. So that's quite interesting, I think, that makeup was created almost 12,000 years ago and we're still using some of the products that were used over 200 years ago now. So it's very interesting. Estee Lauder was actually another company that was very popular, and they were also one of the very first companies to start selling makeup out of a store. So, and they've actually now today bought L'Oreal out. Even though L'Oreal was a hair care product, they also started creating makeup and perfumes and wigs and stuff like that to start selling. So not only was Estee Lauder a huge company back then, they're also a very huge company now because they are one of the very few hypoallergenic skincare product systems. So that's very interesting that they have now turned what was created over 12,000 years ago into a great skincare product for your face. So it's very hard to believe that what was created 12,000 years ago is something that we take advantage of nowadays, that we just put it on like it was nothing, when 12,000 years ago they were sticking leeches to their face and sucking their blood. So I hope everyone has found this very interesting. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I know I found it very interesting to find out where all the products came from that I now put on my face. So thank you, and I hope everyone enjoyed.